Analyze this, it seems very strange that if you analyze it properly, you'll see that they're basically saying Donald Trump, and you're probably thinking, well, this could mean anyone, it could be just a coincidence, but as I said, if you analyze it, you'll see, because I used to attend group sex parties, now I believe masturbation is adultery. Now that, who basically brags about sleeping with women, Donald Trump. What many people probably think this could be just a coincidence, but this site, we all know that GTA was created way before Donald Trump became president. And we all know the Simpsons and that predicted it. I used to smoke on television and exploit my fame and personal wealth to lure college students to hotel rooms. Now if you look up Donald Trump, that's what he used to do. He actually got done for groping women at one point. Well, I think he got away with it. Well, if you look at it, who do you trust to lead the state in the right direction? Who was the one saying, let's make America great again? Donald Trump. There's so many connections on this site in this game to Donald Trump. Let's make America great again. And you can just tell that it's to do. It was predicting basically. And as well, Rockstar, as we know, they promote so many occult symbolism all the way through the video game. I basically exposed it ages ago. It's a game that basically is full of so many occult symbolism, because it's what the game is all about. We see here as well, our great nation has been sold down the river. And then you got, as governor, I promise to fight for every citizen of San Andreas, and to fight particularly hard for the underdog and the white God-fearing heterosexual that this country now hates. Pro-construction. Now I use my acting skills in politics. Pro-freedom of speech, so long as you are not talking about America. But it would be hard to understand. Many people would just think this is could mean anybody, but as I said, you analyze it to Donald Trump, and you'll see that and this as well, Jack Cranley also refers to himself a third person a lot. Basically, that's what Donald Trump does. He sees himself as a god. I mean, it seems pretty weird how they predicted it in The Simpsons, and then they predict it in this. I'm sure it's probably predicted in other stuff without people knowing. But as I said, use your own discernment, because it's obviously referencing to Donald Trump, because you can tell by And then this, we know this was ages ago, but mainly they lied about the date that they posted it. As we know, The Simpsons predicted a Donald Trump presidency, and it didn't end well. Time travel episode from 2000 features broke nation on aid from China. As we know, Donald Trump was supposed to be probably taking an alliance with Russia and that. The episode called Bart to the Future includes vision of the US in 2030. Lisa Simpson has just been elected president to succeed Trump. Nation's financial ruin due to Trump's policies is revealed. In contrast to his 2016, US is shown taking handouts from China. Lisa has to institute massive tax hikes in order to dig America out of its hole. Simpsons has predicted world events before including Ebola, which I basically suppose if you didn't know about that, they basically predicted Ebola before it even existed. They did it in other shows as well. If you look at some shows, they went on about Ebola before it was even heard of. So it just shows it was all agenda, including Ebola, the discovery of the Higgs boson particle, and the Arab Spring. Donald Trump's bid for the White House and Assembly in the polls has surprised many, but The Simpsons called it 15 years ago. The cartoon foretold the Trump presidency in a surreal episode where Bart is given a window into the future and found a country brought to its knees by financial mismanagement and a crime wave ushered in by Donald Trump. I actually saw this episode many times years ago, and it was basically the collapse of America. America was basically broke, and Lisa Simpson basically had to fix the country, and Bart Simpson was basically wasting all the money. In Bart to the Future, first aired in March 2000, a fortune teller gave Bart a glimpse of 2030, just weeks after Trump vacated the White House. Scroll down the video. Yeah, was it. Recent recipe for disaster, an episode dating back to 2000 predicted a future Trump presidency. The Trump is pictured above in a clip made after his campaign launch this year, and as we know, the Fox logo means 666. Last best hope in the old Simpsons episode, Lisa Simpson is elected to succeed Trump in the White House and inherits an unmanageable level of national debt. The episode's alternate universe reveals that Trump, who will be 84 in 2030, left the country in an impossible amount of debt and reliant on foreign aid from Europe and China. This sorry state of affairs is the exact opposite of Trump's current campaign promise to make America great again and stop losing to other nations. The recently unearthed episode is the latest in a series of eerie Simpsons predictions, in which the show has foreseen the Arab Spring, the Ebola crisis, and the discovery of the Hood. The Ebola episode was released in 1996 or 1976 or some time then, and you'll see they basically predicted it before Ebola was even existed or anybody knew about it. In the episode's vision of the future, America is also at the mercy of an army of genetically enhanced thugs brought about by Trump programs. Now, doesn't that seem funny how that went and happened? That happened, we know, the thugs and the riots and went out to do with Trump, people rioting. Trump programs designed to help the nation's youth, which dramatically backfired. Great again, according to the graph by financial whiz Milhouse Van Houten, Trump's admiration brought the nation to financial ruin. The enormous position of accepting handouts from China. The only person who can save the shattered United States is none other than the newly elected President Lisa Simpson, which I find this very strange. I'm not predicting anything here, but this could easily be Hillary Clinton, because the female could simulate Hillary Clinton. Because as we know, when she was doing her election thing, she wore purple, which is scarlet, basically the colour of the whore of Babylon. And it does say that there'll be three antichrists. One will do something, then the second one will make them worship the first beast or something like that. It's in Revelation, but despite her lofty ambitions to refill the oceans and build the world's greatest book mobile, her biggest task becomes rescuing the nation from its crippling debt. An exchange from Lisa's first cabinet meeting at bolded Milhouse in charge of the nation's finances starts with a song, goes downhill. Lisa says, as you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. How bad is it? Secretly, Van Houten. He holds up a graph showing a financial debt plunge and replies, we're broke. Basically the collapse of America. Up to date, The Simpsons has mocked Trump more recently too, in a clip shown above. Homer gets sucked into his portal like Herodo. Lisa later asks whether there is any money to fund her campaign pledges, to which another official replies, no, we borrowed from every country in the world. Lisa is later forced to announce an enormous tax hike in an attempt to right Trump's wrongs, which kills her approval rating. It also does nothing to the nation's creditors, but the nation is eventually saved by Bart, a failed musician in the future vision who uses his well-practiced ability dodging debts repayments to win the United States a reprieve, as well as its prediction of Trump's presidential ambitions, which he has entertained since at least the 1980s. The Simpsons has given the Donald its signature treatment more recently. Long after his controversial campaign launch, where he called Mexican immigrants rapists and drug dealers, The Simpsons published a short video featuring Homer and Trump in close quarters. In the video, Homer was slipped $50 by a campaign officer to cheer on Trump at the launch, riffing on real life. But we know that it was all predicted. This is where I was on about Ebola. 1997. 1997 this was done. Before, and Ebola wasn't even around then in 1997. Wasn't around. Through the yellow crystal ball of a world events started predicted by The Simpsons. A Trump presidential campaign will hardly be the first event The Simpsons apparently predicted from afar. The show has called world events correctly before and feels as diverse as politics, medicine, and physicists. In 1997, an episode apparently predicted the Ebola outbreak in early 2015, which devastated West Africa. Because if you think this is the only thing that predicted it, if you look at Resident Evil 5, you'll see that where they bleed out of their eyes and nose, that game was released about 5 years before the Ebola virus was even announced. So not only did they predict it in 1997, they predicted it, and as well, if you've ever seen the show Two and a Half Men, they mention it in that as well. They go on about Ebola monkeys. So that's what the media is used for. This is what the Illuminati do. They put it like they did with 9/11. They put it in episodes and that, because that's how they control. Satan uses the TV to brainwash people. Uncanny, in a 1997 episode of The Simpsons, the show's creators appear to hint at the recent African Ebola epidemic. In the episode, Lisa Sachs, a sick Bart, is given a book to read to keep him occupied at home. However, despite her intentions to soothe her son, Marge hands over a volume entitled Curious George and the Ebola Virus. And this was in 1997, and the Ebola virus was around announced in 2015. So this is so many years they predicted it. The cover features a sickened monkey, the animal which carries Ebola. Frames of the cover are followed moments later by Bart gesturing to a drawing of piled up bodies. A 1998 episode, The Wizard of Entergreen Terrace, got science buffs talking years later when it emerged Homer Simpson had produced a decent approximation of a theory related to the Higgs boson God particle. As we know, CERN predicted that CERN, you see, CERN, the Hadron Collider, as we know, where they try to find the God particle. Genius, an episode from 1998, shows Homer Simpson producing an apparent function of a theory for the mass of Higgs boson particle. One experienced particle physicist said that a complicated Homer scribbled on a chalkboard seemed to pre-eminate the discovery by experts at CERN. And as we know with CERN, they have the dancing Shiva. Basically, it's known as the god of destruction on the outside of the building, because that's what they believe in. The god of destruction basically comes on earth and kills everybody. So we know there's only one God, and it's called Jesus Christ. One experienced particle said that a completely equating a Macronian gang also apparently foresaw the potential downfall of Syria brought about by the Arab Spring. This is what cartoons are used for. Notice down Arabic. A 2001 Simpsons episode, New Kids on the Bleach, shows clips of a war in an unsuspected Middle Eastern country. Some of the US enemies depicted in the show were using a jeep branded with a flag used by nobody at the time it was aired, but which more than a decade came to be used by a rebel group in Syria. So predicted programming, false flag. If it's been predicted in an episode, guarantee it's predicted programming. It's a false flag. It means they planned it. False flag conspiracy theorists flipped out over a 2000 episode of The Simpsons featuring the flag of a Syrian opposition group, which did not exist until after the Arab Spring. So there you go. Obviously that flag didn't exist until the Arab Spring. So they predicted it. They knew that it was going to happen, or it's a false flag. This is what they do. I mean, it's so many. It's predictive programming. One of the central topics I've dealt PSYOP. The country's instance of this cooperation from episodes of The Simpsons to Grey's Anatomy and the pre-9/11 examples the only logical conclusion for a theorist concerning, as we know, they even predicted the 9/11, because this is all cartoons are used for. and they target young kids because they know that kids will just soak this up and think nothing of it. Deception as to how mass shooting terrorist attacks on other big events all tie into fiction. It most certainly is. Predictive programming and media fakery demonstrated, because this is what they do. As we know, they basically do it. But I believe that Lisa Simpson is supposed to be Hillary Clinton. Whether it is, we don't know. Could simulate Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump probably messes the country up. Hillary Clinton comes in, says, I can fix what Donald Trump has done to this country. Then she'll probably mess it up and somebody else will come along. And then maybe the real Antichrist will come along. Because we know that there's actually four. The fourth one is the last one. The third one and the second one make people worship the image of the beast. As you see, predictive programming in video games and cartoons.